Meeting to order. Misty, would you call the roll, please?
Craig Romey.
Present.
Larry Pratt.
Present.
Bill Lukens.
Here.
Deborah Johnston.
Here.
J.R. Huddleston.
Here.
David Burris.
Here.
Linda Varvel.
Here.
Melanie Wilson.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I remember.
As always, council, remember if you have a conflict of interest, please let the council know before you vote on a particular issue. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Need a motion to approve the minutes from the March 21st meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the March 21st council meeting.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Need a motion to approve the bills in between.
Make a motion to approve bills in between for $115,920.80.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. A motion to approve the current claims.
Make a motion to approve the current claims of $76,626.68.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Need a motion to approve the Wells Fargo credit cards.
I'll make a motion to approve the Wells Fargo credit card claims for $17,668.57. Second.
Discussion?
I got a question. How much money are we going to put into this camera at the sewer plant? Paid $5,800 for an enclosed trailer for it, and now we spent $23.35 for a roller to roll it out of the trailer? Is it that heavy?
I don't know how heavy it is, but it's certainly an expensive piece of equipment that we want to last down the road.
Well, yeah, but, there's those small trailers for sale all over the Black Hills. I didn't think we had to buy a new one. But, I didn't say anything about that, but we're getting carried away with the money that we're spending just for that, I think. My opinion.
Well, the case has been made over the years that we haven't done an adequate job of surveying our sewer lines, and this certainly gets us in the direction we want to go. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Next item on the agenda is a proclamation. We also have a 7:10 bid opening, but I think we can get through the proclamation before 7:10. Rajani, are you with us? Office of the Mayor, Hot Springs, South Dakota Proclamation, Earth Day Month, April 2022. Whereas Earth Day was first celebrated on April 22nd, 1970, with the goal of inspiring an appreciation of our nation's natural resources through conservation and protection. And whereas the celebration of this day marks an annual review of and commitment to the principles of that first Earth Day. And whereas Earth Day marks a renewed commitment to environmental stewardship and to the implementation of sustainability and regenerative efforts. And whereas the global community now faces extraordinary challenges such as environmental degradation, global health issues, climate change, food and water shortages, And whereas it is understood that the citizens of the global community must step forward and take action to create positive environmental change to combat the aforementioned global challenges and preserve it for future generations. And whereas the City of Hot Springs celebrates Earth Day by extending it to the month of April in recognition of the commitment to environmental stewardship. And whereas the City of Hot Springs businesses, organizations, and government agencies are encouraged to acknowledge Earth Day month through education, campaigns, programs, promotions, policies, and activities. And whereas the City of Hot Springs residents are encouraged to implement practices designed to preserve and protect our environment and our unique, magnificent natural resources in the Black Hills. Now therefore, I, Bob Nelson, Mayor of the City of Hot Springs, do hereby proclaim the month of April 22nd as Earth Month from this year forward. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Hot Springs to be affixed this 4th day of April in the year of our Lord 2022. Rajni? I can't fit through there. We're about 2 minutes away from our 7:10 public opening. So if you know any good jokes you want to share with the community,
I don't have any jokes, but I have bids. Shouldn't have jokes.
it's good to see more folks in the room.
Sure is.
I suspect that we've generated some concern, and we'll be happy to listen to how you feel about that during the communications from the public.
Did Jen leave? Did Jen leave? Oh, there she is on the end. She's still here. When no one's talking? A couple minutes takes forever.
Yeah.
All right. We have a 7:10 bid opening for 2022 airport haying proposals. Have two bids. First bid is from Steve Housley. Like to offer services to cut and bale the grass around the airport runways. I understand this area to be approximately 130 acres. I'm willing to fulfill this task for 60%, for a 60%, 40% split of the hay produced, as well as the option to purchase the city's 40% of the hay at the end of the season. So his offer is to fulfill the task for a 60%, 40% split of the hay produced, as well as the option to purchase the city's 40% at the end of the season. Second bid is from Merrill Hay Company out of Oral. Merrill Hay Company is proposing to the City of Hot Springs a 42-58 shares agreement. City of Hot Springs is the 42. Merrill Hay Company is the 58. They're capable of producing small square bales and large round bales in a timely and organized manner. The first quote or bid from Steve Housley is 60% for himself, 40% for the city. Merrill Hay Company is 42% for the city, 58% for Merrill Hay Company. Do you confirm I'm reading those correctly?
So neither one of them's offering us money for the hay, they're just saying that they'll do it for the hay? And then,
If you remember the proposal, the pricing is set and we don't want our portion. They get all the hay and this is the percent of the value that we get to keep.
but the 60% or whatever they take, they're cutting it, getting it just for cutting it. They're not paying anything for the 60%.
The value of the hay is determined by the FSA office or the USDA office, and it's the total tonnage that they do,
Okay.
and then they pay us the percentage.
I
They
didn't-
can keep it or sell it.
I didn't hear that in there, so.
That's how our request for proposal was written.
Yeah, it's not in here, but it was in the request for proposal.
Okay.
All right.
And then if, like on the Merrill bid, he doesn't offer to buy the rest of the 42%. So we would have to put that out for bid?
That wasn't part of the RFP, though, was it?
No, it's the value that they have to give us. They get all the hay. We don't get
Oh,
any
they
of
get
the hay.
all
We
the
don't
hay.
take possession of hay. They get all the
Okay.
hay, and they would give us that percentage of whatever the
I get
value
it,
is.
okay,
Okay.
It's
Sounds
pretty
like-
much the same way we do it every year.
all right.
We changed it a couple years back. We used
Yeah.
it, we had different wording before, but it's the same way we've done it every year.
It comes down to the same thing.
All right. So Dave agrees. The Steve Housley offer is for the city to get paid 40% of the hay at the end of the season. The Merrill Hay Company, Ryan Merrill is the contact, is 42% of the hay to the city of Hot Springs.
So it's a better deal by 2, but not by much, yeah.
So, any questions, council? Need a motion to award or table?
Make a motion to award the hay to Merrill Hay.
A second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes to award the contract to Ryan Merrill. Well, that gets us right up to our 7:15 public hearing. Alcoholic beverage license application from HSP Loft Properties, LLC, for a retail on-sale restaurant liquor license to be used at 309 North River Street. Brett, are you here to address the council?
Hello, Brent Eastep, 311 North River Street. How are y'all doing? We've done this several times, I think, so. Yep, so we got permitted on the 15th as our, with our restaurant license, so we're now a full restaurant and bar. And as I'm sure y'all recall, we applied for and were approved for the one back in December, and then whatever happened with the state thing on that, this was obviously our next step, so here we are to do this one for the restaurateur's permit.
Any questions, council?
Well, last time you was here, you answered pretty much all of my questions.
Thank you.
And I was comfortable with your answers.
I really appreciate you offering another food establishment for town.
Absolutely, no worries.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
I'm good for y'all, good, thanks.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody from the public that would like to speak to this? All right, let's go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:17. Need a motion to approve, deny, or table?
Make a motion to approve the alcoholic beverage license, excuse me, application from HSP Loft Properties LLC for a retail on-sale restaurant liquor license to be used at 309 North River Street.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Thank you for giving it a second shot.
Congratulations.
All right, so now we're to communications from the public. Anyone would like to address the public or address the council? Anticipating there may be a number of speakers on this particular issue, I would ask that try to keep your comments to 3 minutes, please.
My name is Rajni Lerman. I live on Minnetonka Avenue. Thank you, Mayor Nelson, for proclaiming April Earth Day Month. I hope this proclamation can set a new direction for the city that respects and considers the environment before making critical decisions. For today, I am grieving. I'm grieving the loss of life that lived in the section of Fall River that was brutally denuded the other day. Witnessing large equipment moving through this beautiful ecosystem, digging, scraping, excavating all life in the river, impervious to the suffering of the plants, organisms, aquatic species, demolishing home to fish, turtles, insects, birds. I'm devastated. I'm grieving society's inability to recognize the interconnectedness of everything. The water, including Fall River, is the center and foundation of our town. It is the reason people come here to settle. It is an integral part of our community, which is an ecosystem. Removing any part of the ecosystem disturbs and affects the whole. I am grieving a part of mine and our whole. An ecosystem is defined as a community of living organisms in conjunction with non-living components of their environment, interacting as a system. So we as a community are an ecosystem, and Fall River is also a subset ecosystem, a freshwater aquatic ecosystem. And as we have warm water, it's a quite unique ecosystem. Each ecosystem has biotic and abiotic components within it. The main functions of an ecosystem are to regulate the essential ecological processes, support life systems, and render stability. It also is responsible for cycling the nutrients between biotic and abiotic components. It maintains a balance among the various trophic levels in an ecosystem. It cycles the minerals through the biosphere. The abiotic components help in the synthesis of organic compounds that involve an exchange of energy. And we don't have time to go into all the science, but if you consider cause and effect, such as when the core widened the Fall River, making it shallower, sediment more easily build up on its edges. Additionally, according to the Wetlands Scientific Journal, increased nutrient inputs into wetlands and altered hydraulic regimes are among the principal anthropogenic drivers of cattails. So basically, when people, city, businesses, and residents fertilize lawns, some of these nutrients go into the storm drain system and into the river, encouraging its growth. Yet, these plants are performing an important function for that ecosystem. In addition to providing food and shelter for many species, they also bioaccumulate toxins. In other words, they clean the river. So again, I'm asking you, Mayor Nelson, and this council to create a Fall River Committee, just like the Historic Preservation Committee, an alliance of people who can research, discuss, and guide the most optimum decisions for any actions that would affect Fall River and its entire ecosystem from here forth. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajni. So I just want to offer before the next speaker that I suspect that all of the comments will be along the same lines as Rajni's, and I'll save my comments at the end for why we're where we're at. So, thank you.
My name is Sarah Peterson, and I've lived in Hot Springs for 20 years now. I came to this committee, this board, I think it was about 6 years ago, asking for a resolution to protect our water from the proposed uranium mining in the Dewey Burdock area. A resolution it wasn't really a resolution. It was just a statement on how important our water is to us here and how important it is to keep it pure and not contaminated with radioactivity from the uranium mining. And again, it was just a statement. And since this is the Earth Day month, and you read the proposal, the proclamation that this body has approved of, one of those things was protecting what we have and our resources. And I'm asking you to come up with a real resolution to protect our water and not just a statement about how important it is to us. What are you going to do as a body here to put it in the ordinances and in your policies to protect our water? I ask you to do that for all of us, all the life in Fall River County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. City Council, Mr. Mayor, Finance Officer. So I'd like to support what Rajni said, that we need to support. Sure. My name is Jeffrey Larive, Larive. My great-grandfather designed and built the Mueller Bandstand, so I have a little bit of a vested interest in the environment, the environs of Fall River. My other great-grandfather built Larvie Lake. So, like I said, I've been involved with water through my ancestors for quite a few years. that being that, the city so far has not demonstrated any accountability for their development of Fall River. It's a precious resource, and we can squander it, or we can foster it. But so far, what I see is a lot of squandering. And I'd like to see the city develop a commission, like Rajni suggested, to prevent silly activities along the river. Things don't need to be destroyed. We can preserve things. And people will come to Hot Springs to see the beautiful river and wade in the water, but not if they have to make their way across jagged boulders to get to the water, as they currently have to now. So thank you for making the proclamation, Mr. Mayor, and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anyone else?
There's one coming.
Thank you, Council. Robert Paul, 1327 Schofield Street. I'd like to say that I'm hearing some merits to the arguments that Rajni and Jeff have presented, but on the other hand, I would also like to say that several years ago, there was a commission that had been set up to study the river. There had been a river development plan at that time that had pretty much been ignored for the last 8-9 years maybe. And I'd like to say that based on what I have seen of the work so far, I'd like to ask everyone to exercise a little bit of patience, and let's wait to see how this project develops, because I think the end result of this is going to be very much more pleasing than the, in my opinion only, the eyesore of just a mass cattail invasion along that stretch of river. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Council, do you have any comments?
I would just like to say I agree a lot with what Rajni and Jeff have said. But that being said, there's also been a plan in place that has, as said, been ignored. And part of that was to be able to make the river accessible, more accessible to the populace and to tourists. And that's where this is going. And yeah, it's kind of like having a tilled up garden and it's all messed up and clumped up and ugly at the moment, but a lot of the vegetation will come back, and we're going to be adding vegetation. And as when I was growing up here, that river did not have the clogging with the cattails, and we could see the river, and it didn't get sucked dry by the cattails. So, you know, there's arguments on both sides, and it's about a balance. And with the money being spent towards the cantilevered sidewalk, which was another plan that was written into a plan in like 1974, I believe. And then it was brought forth again in the Tall Tale Plan of 2017, whatever year that one was done. So it's been mentioned for a long time to develop and to make access to this part of the river. And so, you know, yes, we do need to support and we need to protect our waterway, which this is doing that. But some people, I know it's we've tried burning the cattails and it just seems to make them worse. And so, you know, they're a hard thing to deal with, and I'm really sorry that it came to this, but I think we're going to be happy with it down the road. And we can start putting our goldfish in and replenish the goldfish that aren't there anymore either, that used to be there. So, thanks.
Anyone else?
I grew up here in Hot Springs and lived down by the river for all the way through my senior year of high school. And as growing up, we could walk up the river on either side, clear to the courthouse and back. And a lot of times we did. We would take our inner tubes with us. We'd walk that river all the way up, looking at where we could pull over and stop and mess around a little bit, well, kid around, and then come back down to home. Looking at it now, and since in the last 25 years, my wife and I have been together, and coming over and looking at the river, it's nasty. You couldn't see the river for the majority of it, and it's sad because it's a beautiful river. And I grew up around it, walked around it. I remember my brother used to stand over the retaining wall and whistle, and here'd come a flock of ducks, and he'd feed them pieces of bread that mom or grandma would give us. And he would do this day after day to the point that all they had to do was whistle, and here they'd come. And there would be flocks, big flocks of ducks. You don't see that anymore. I think we're headed in the right direction to make the river more accessible to us as citizens, but to visitors coming here, and to see how beautiful it actually is. So I'm torn both ways, but I think if you're patient with us, you'll see what we're doing is a good thing, and hopefully we can get it back to the way it was when I grew up.
Anyone else? So I appreciate JR and Deborah commenting about the river that they remember when they grew up. The conversations that I've had with people on both sides of, is this the right thing to do, really stem from the fact that there are people who only know the cattails, and they're newer residents to Hot Springs. So when they see them go, it's traumatic for them because they think that's the natural river, and it is not the natural river. Rajni had mentioned that there are wetlands. It's not a wetland, it's a flood channel. That's not my definition of it. That's the Corps of Engineers' definition of it. Dave would be able to talk about the previous times that he's been on council when the Corps of Engineers would come through and they would do their yearly inspections and they would make recommendations what the city of Hot Springs should do with the flood channel. And for the most part, we didn't get that accomplished like we were supposed to, like the Corps expected us to. And now that we are taking care of our flood channel and removing the cattails, our previous city administrator got us started down the road last year. And it was before the Corps had come through for their annual inspection. They come through, and I believe it's August typically is when they're coming through. So we were able to show them the first steps in reclaiming that section of the river, and we are focused on the section between University and Minnetonka. Showed that to them, and they were very appreciative that Hot Springs had finally stepped up and done what they had asked us and expected us to do. This is our responsibility. And it mentioned to them that we were going to continue going north. And for me, this is part of our road reconstruction project, our next 2 years in Hot Springs, our suspended sidewalk that's going to be over that section of the river. And I think we can do better with making it accessible for a larger group of people. Not just those very active outdoors people that want to get down in the river, but the casual mom and dad that stop for a half hour and don't want to wade through those cattails to get in and experience the river. They want to be able to walk down the bank of it, and they want to be able to get in. So that's what this is allowing us to do. I've assured a couple of the folks that have shared their great concern that at this point I am not advocating for going any further north than Minnetonka without a larger discussion, without a more detailed discussion, without a more involved discussion. The first year that I was in office, Uriah had asked me to walk with him from Chautauqua Park all the way down to the waterfall, and a path that he's been developing over the years. It's a beautiful path. And when you look at the area behind, directly behind Evans Plunge, if you want to restore the river to something, restore it to that section behind Evans Plunge. It's a beautiful section. There's just so much diversity in the types of water plants and everything that are in there. The rippling water that comes through there. But the cattails, they're not native. They're not what us old folks in Hot Springs remember. Someone had said, do I prefer the look when the equipment was in the river versus the cattails? Absolutely not. That river looked terrible. It's the beginning of a process. It's getting us where the rivers should be. So I agree that it didn't look good when they were in there, but it's not the end result. Give us a chance to get this done right, get it done differently. So that would be my request to you.
Mayor, in reference to what you're talking about and what John, you talked about, I do have that in my hand right here, John. What the Army Corps of Engineers says from the inspection report on the cattails and invasive weeds down there.
I would also like to extend the restoration between Jennings Bridge and University because it is being clogged off by invasive pampas grass that was introduced by someone's ornamental that was close to the river. And I want y'all to go down there and look at that because that's not native either. It's just over the edge next to American Legion. And it is choking the river there as well. And it's going to get worse. And there are a few clumps of it going north of the Minnetonka Bridge between that and the Braun Hotel that if we can get in there and hand control those, clip off the fronds before they seed out. And I don't know if we could dig the clumps out by hand or what we could do and take them far away from the river and plant them in someone's yard. They're gorgeous plants. You can pay a lot of money for those. But that area is going to get inundated as well if we don't get rid of those few clumps that are spreading up in that direction.
I agree with Bob when he said that we have to remember that this was built as a floodplain for Hot Springs. And I remember seeing pictures that my parents had before the wall was built, before Coldbrook Dam was built, where those businesses along North River Street got flooded about annually, I think. And and it was quite devastating to the people that had businesses along there. And you may think that that concrete wall is ugly, but it protects the businesses that are there.
The final thing that I would add is I don't diminish your concern. I spoke with an individual, I think it was last Thursday, and it was obvious to me the passion that he has for that river. There were tears in his eyes when he asked me to explain to him why I pushed and advocated for having that channel cleared out. So I appreciate that. I understand it. But again, it is a flood channel, and we have to maintain it as a flood channel. That is the Corps' expectation of us. So. Anyone else that would like to address the council? All right. I have a letter of appreciation I would like to read. It's from the Office of the Mayor, Hot Springs, South Dakota, appreciation letter. Kathy Jersa, retirement. On behalf of the City Council of the City of Hot Springs, I would like to personally congratulate you on your upcoming retirement. As I served on the City Council and during my tenure as mayor, I have enjoyed working with you and have been so very impressed by your dedication and hard work as the Golf Pro Shop manager, a position you have held since 2005 and then some. I consider you not only a valuable asset to the city, but a true friend to all of your coworkers. While you will be missed by both council and city staff, you certainly deserve your retirement. Your hard work and diligence have greatly benefited the golf program of the city, and I hope that the remaining employees here will strive to follow your stellar example. The public persona of a city is so often based on the relationships that we have with the public. Your contributions to our overall image are immeasurable. For the past 17-plus years with the city, and many before when this facility was owned privately, you have nurtured our image to both residents and visitors alike at the Southern Hills Golf Course. Starting out with us when the course was expanded to 18 holes, you have always been the first step. You have always been the first to step up and take the lead, walking the program through many transitions. Your initiative and dedication to the program have helped you thrive through numerous administrators, mayors, and councils, each with their own goals and strategies. Your resilience has inspired many other employees to be better. It has always been my personal pleasure to work with you. So while I am saddened to see you go, I am confident that you will find the same success and happiness in retirement that you experienced during your time with us. I wish you the best in your future endeavors. Retirement will surely offer you many new opportunities, which I know you will embrace wholeheartedly, just as you did at the City of Hot Springs. Please keep in touch and visit often if you have that time. I hope you have a fun and fruitful retirement. Best wishes, Bob Nelson, Mayor. Kathy isn't able to be with us tonight, but she is they're having a retirement party for her Saturday.
On Saturday, yes.
At the American Legion. So I would encourage everyone who knows Kathy.
I'm sorry.
She put in an awful lot of years at the golf course.
Yeah.
And Jeff, if you, I'll be out of town this weekend. I'll be in Denver attending a dance recital for our great-granddaughter. So if you would...
Let me just clear, I apologize. It's Saturday the 30th is the date.
The 30th?
Yes, I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I'll be there. All right. Any other comments from the public? Sure.
Yes.
Yep.
You have to say your name, even if we know you.
Name and address.
Name and address?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Not your phone number, just your name and address. No, not your phone number. Just kidding.
And your checking account number and PIN.
Really tall. Marla Zimiga.
Political
I live at
affiliation?
19. Pardon?
We're messing
My
with
social
you.
security number is that what he wanted? Oh, okay. I live at 1945 Baltimore Avenue. I was just wondering about, as long as you're clearing everything and doing everything, has it been taken, into perspective, the fact that when rainy season comes, all of that goes rushing down and ends up down there by Big Baths? The flooding? Even by the A&W dip? Is that what everybody calls it?
The dip bridge.
The dip bridge.
Yep.
By the A&W dip, that was even flooding. So when the rainy season comes, has that been taken into consideration about the flooding for the people down below?
No. That was in the original design of the flood channel.
To flood them down there? Because they've had flooding down there. In the rainy season.
Are you
Is there
also...
something set in place to help them?
Are you referring to the Joplin Street bridge there that crosses over down there before you get to sewer plant?
Joplin and the trailer park that, I don't know who owns it now.
The River Run.
Yeah.
Yes, Sunding's Trailer Court.
I don't know what it's called now.
That was never, to answer your question, that was never part of what is considered the floodplain. But in their...
Where Iverson's, you know where Iverson's?
Oh, I know all that area. I know it very well.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
When you pull out all the cattails that has been like slowing it down, when we get the rainy season, that thing goes. So is there something set up so when it starts to go? Because we're coming in on rainy seasons now.
There is a flood plan, a county flood plan.
There is a flood plan to protect those people down there.
If you live in a floodplain.
Is that considered a floodplain down there?
I'm not sure if that's in a...
That's not considered a floodplain. That was never considered part of the floodplain when the Corps of Engineers actually did their study.
Well, we do know that people who've lived here forever, I've been here forever.
Yeah,
and a
floods.
day.
Yeah.
It does flood.
Yeah, you
It
don't
does.
you don't go
I
over
won't
the
argue that
bridge.
point, ma'am. I'm just telling you that
But you guys have
the
taken it into
wisdom of
consideration.
the Corps of Engineers, that is how they stated it, that is and I can't think of the exact words that they use in that, but it is basically the tail end of the rush. And so it has never been considered, that portion has never been considered part of the flood plain. But we do,
Whereas people
depending.
who've lived here forever, we know
Yeah,
that it'll flood clear to.
and I won't argue that point with you because I agree with you.
But do we have something in place for that?
But
That's what I'm
there
worrying
is-
about.
There's just emergency services that we have, but if you live in a floodplain, that is a choice, and that's the way it's been placed to me by the Corps of Engineers. That is a choice of where you.
But you just said that isn't considered a floodplain.
No, it is
It
not
is
in
flooded.
their eyes. In our eyes as a community, we would all say, yes, it does get water there. It does. But I am not the leader of the Corps of Engineers. I just get to deal with them and their system. And all I can do is work within their boundaries. But to answer you, that has never been, that piece has never actually been considered a floodplain.
Can I ask one more thing?
Sure, you can ask as much as you want.
Pardon?
You can ask as much as you want. I can only answer what I do know, though.
Well, for everybody, as a community, can we take that into consideration or think about it? About, what can we do as a community? Because now that you have opened the floodgates with removing all the cattails that was slowing everybody down, the water down, what is set in place for them? Because it's gonna rain.
Ma'am, it is considered having the cattails in there and slowing the water down, that is what is considered a flood problem.
It slows the cattails.
Well, when you have a lot of debris in that channel and you have lots of water coming down, that debris is what might get caught in what do you call that grate thing that's by the dip bridge?
Yeah, it clogs
Okay,
that.
and it prevents the culvert underneath the dip bridge from getting clogged up, the grate that they put in front of that. So once you remove all of that, the cattails and other debris that can wash down there, and it gets caught in that grate during the rainy season. But you have to realize too that a lot of the water that enters the channel comes down from the streets up on College Hill, that comes down in those great big culverts that empties in right there by Centennial Park. And that's what increases the water flow, is a lot of that.
So we understand your concern, and we're not going to solve that problem tonight.
No.
So I appreciate you sharing your concern.
Brought up.
Well,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Because it's scary in the middle of the night when I don't live there, I live up top.
Yeah. But then too, you don't want Hot Springs.
I don't want them hurt either.
No, well, I realize
we-
that you don't want Hot Springs designating that has a floodplain and making those people move their trailer houses out of there permanently,
Okay.
like what they did in Rapid City in 1972.
Well, we can come up with something.
Well, yes, but we're
Not tonight.
Not tonight.
We're not going to solve that
No.
tonight.
Not tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Let's ask the old timers what they did before the cattails were here.
I don't think those trailers
So,
were in there.
Mayor?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi there, my name is Holly Cedarhart. I live here in Hot Springs, 108 South 23rd Street. And I would just like to say that I would really love to see some more research go in as to how to deal with the cattails. There has to be another way that is less environmentally harmful for the habitat of turtles and birds and fish and toads and all those folks that live in the river. And I know there's other ways besides bulldozers that can thin and remove cattails. I'm sure it's a lot of work, but I'm definitely in support of that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one more time. Anybody that would like to address the council with any issue?
Hi, my name's Tim Dove. I live at 13065 Fall River Road. I don't actually live in city limits, but I live right on the river. Can I speak at this?
You're already there.
Okay, well,
Just
something
try
I
to-
see
try to
that's
keep it
being
3
passed
minutes.
over a lot in all these conversations is that the cattails are actually water purifiers. And if there didn't need to be there, they wouldn't be there. Just like sage grass doesn't need to be there if there's plenty of potash in the ground. Everything has a purpose. So the cattails are trying to overdo what we're messing up with our septic tanks and everything, all the pollutants that are going into the river. That's what the cattails' function is to purify the water. So, of course, more are going to grow as more pollution grows. So when you guys were younger, it wasn't as polluted as it is now. The river's full of watercress. Watercress can't grow in polluted water. The reason the watercress is there is because of the cattails cleaning the water and the bulrushes. I think we really do need to look deeper into this than just, well, it's the way it used to be, this is the way it is now. There are environmental impacts that are happening, and a study should be done on it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm from the South, and being from Oklahoma, I know all about cattails, and they are an invasive species that was brought and introduced into the Black Hills, and even in the South, they are considered a weed. They will take over a farm pond, and thank goodness up here that there are no cottonmouths, water moccasins, because they would live in the thicket of it, and they would eat the birds there, and it kills off our farm ponds, it kills off our rivers down there. I get what you're saying, I understand what you're talking about, but remember, they were introduced to the Black Hills. They were never indigenous to this region.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to personnel. Need a motion to approve personnel actions A through S.
Make a motion to approve personnel actions A through S.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Brings us to resolutions. If we had an ordinance, the ordinances typically will be before the resolutions. So I want to address why the second reading of the wayfinding ordinance is not on the agenda for tonight. I removed it. The last council meeting we had convinced me that it still needs more baking. It's not a finished product. Jeff and I had an opportunity to meet with ISG, who is the designers of our suspended sidewalk. They also provide wayfinding signage services. So we asked them to submit us a proposal and a cost for helping us figure out the right wayfinding signage program. So we're going to slow walk that one, but council, that's the reason that it's not on your agenda tonight for reconsideration, is some of the issues that were raised at the last one convinced me when I thought I was going to get it where it needed to be, that it only pointed out it still needed a lot more work. So that's why it's not on your agenda for consideration tonight. So that brings us to our resolution, Resolution 2022-11, a resolution to amend the citywide fee resolution.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-11, a resolution to amend the citywide fee resolution to increase the library interlibrary loan item fee.
Second.
Discussion. If you remember, we amended the fee resolution, I believe maybe at the last council meeting or the one before that, to increase our interlibrary loan fees up to $4. And since that resolution, they've also gone up an additional $1. So that's the reason that we're asking you to approve this one to go from $4 to $5. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. On a new business, item A, possible motion discussion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign 2022-8 use agreements.
I'll make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign 2022-8 use agreement between the City of Hot Springs and the Hot Springs Community Garden to grant the use of a city-owned empty lot legally described as Sublot H of lots 15 and 16, Block 2, Cold Springs Edition, for the use of a public garden space.
Second.
All right, this is something that's been kicked around at Public Works for a number of meetings. And Carrie, I believe you're here, and would you like to speak to this? Carrie put the packet together for you folks.
Public speaking, isn't it wonderful?
Carrie Pyle, address 223 Galveston. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. I really don't know how I can explain it any further. I'm not sure what's missing out of your all's packet, but if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
All right. One of the big questions that came out of public safety, Public Works, is the lot itself. And it got embroiled in some past transactions with the city when the city needed to buy some property to put the flood channel through. This property inadvertently got excluded, and it never got the floodplain designation removed from it. So FEMA will always consider it a floodplain. And the question that came up is, what can we do with the lot, given that it's a floodplain? So we asked Tracy to take a look at it and see what his thoughts were about the fence that would be put up on the lot, and then about the raised gardens. So that's the letter that Tracy put together, his thoughts, his opinions on the fence and the raised gardens, and would they pose any greater flood risk than the surrounding structures? And in his opinion, they wouldn't.
For the public's information, can you give kind of a down and dirty explanation of how big it's going to be, costs, just the basics of how it's going to work?
Yes, the basics would be that the lot is 100 feet square. It will be divided into 49 garden plots, approximately 6 feet by 12 feet, with 3 feet in between.
I'm sorry, Carrie.
The thought is so far that each plot would lease for $25 per year or per season. There would be a limit of 2 lots per household. There will be raised beds. We were advised to do raised beds, which would be about 18 inches high. The fence will be deer-proof and rabbit-proof, because we've seen those on that plot of ground already. Hopefully, we'll be able to start planting the middle of May. So the lease agreements, the registration day will be the first week of May. We haven't decided on a set date yet, but the first weekend, hopefully, of May will be open for registration on site.
On site?
On site.
Okay.
There will be notifications posted around town on the bulletin boards, on the public bulletin boards, as well as online, probably with Facebook.
did you do a pH like we were discussing? Did you have them go take a look at?
I have not done that because they're going to be raised beds.
Okay,
So we're not testing the soil there.
okay. So we won't be using any soil whatsoever from that ground?
Probably not.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Public Works has been going through this. We highly recommend that we do this. I think it would be, myself personally, I can't speak for Craig on his personal feelings, but he does agree that this would be a good beginning program for community gardens. If we can show some responsibility in doing this and keeping the grounds the way they need to be, that I think this would grow. And I think we need to appreciate all the work that Carrie has put into doing this. It is something that I think for a lot of folks here in town that don't really have a big enough yard or anything like that can utilize. And it opens up some public socialization amongst people we don't know. But, you know, I really highly recommend that people get involved in this. Craig, do you have anything to add, or anybody else?
No, I'm in favor of it, though.
I think it's a great community unity thing you're doing here. Thank you.
Carrie spent a lot of time putting together the packet that's in front of you, and I appreciate that, Carrie. Thank you.
Yeah, me
Thank
too.
you, Carrie.
Thank
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Carrie.
Thank you all, too.
Any other questions from council? Public have any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. And Carrie, we talked about, you know, it's a little earlier. We originally thought maybe 9 o'clock the council would approve it, and you could get your shovels out and get headed out that way.
It is
Great
closed
work.
after dusk. That's part of the rules.
Great work, though, Carrie. Very good work.
New business.
John has a truck, I know.
New business item B, a possible motion discussion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign as authorized representative for the city, the state financial assistance agreement.
Make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign as authorized representative for the city, the state financial assistance agreement, project number 3-46-0020-17-2022, ARPA-FAA, $32,000.
Second.
Discussion? Misty, am I correct that this is the federal government giving us $32,000 related to COVID?
At the airport, yes, and you've already approved
Specific to the airport.
grant. This is just the state financial assistance agreement because the state distributes the grant money.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item C, a possible motion discussion to approve and authorize the mayor to accept and sign the proposal and construction service agreement.
Make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to accept and sign the proposal and construction service agreement with American Engineering Testing to provide all construction materials testing services for the U.S. Highway 18, 18B, and 385 projects. NH018, parentheses 184, 39, NH0188, parentheses 0240, NH0385, parentheses 48, 35, at an estimated total cost of $15,975.
Second. Discussion. So these are expenses that the city will incur because of our water and sewer portion of the road reconstruction project. That's our project, so we oversee it, the installation of it, and these are actually compaction tests that they'll perform as the dirt is being put back into the ditches before the State Highway goes on top of it. This is our responsibility to do these compaction testings, not the state of South Dakota's, because it's our water and sewer project that we're monitoring. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item D, a possible motion discussion to approve an automatic budget supplement.
I make a motion to approve an automatic budget supplement of $2,541.33 to the additional sales tax fund 212-21200-42200 for preliminary design engineering for airport multi-hangar T-unit, or multi-unit T-hangar. Dyslexia. Keep going. Oh, okay. Reimbursement revenue received from AIP grant funding number 3-46-00220 or -013-02020.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item E, a possible motion discussion to approve an automatic budget supplement.
Make a motion to approve an automatic budget supplement of $1,833.73 to the additional sales tax fund 212-21200-42200 for construction, administration, and observation engineering for airport 10-unit T-hangar construction project. Reimbursement revenue received from AIP grant funding number 3-46-0022015-2021.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item F, a possible motion discussion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a revised memorandum of agreement.
I make a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a revised memorandum of agreement for the VA compensated work therapy program, changing the rate of reimbursement from $10 an hour to $11 an hour based on the new South Dakota minimum wage rates.
Second.
Discussion? So this is an update of the agreement that was you folks approved last year to raise the cost per hour from $10 to $11 an hour. And this is the partnership that we have with the VA when they have someone that's going through the program that is looking to work in the community, and we have like jobs that we can utilize their skills on. Then we partner with the VA to find a place for these folks to work.
And it's a great program. I worked with it when I worked at the VA, and it helps our veterans get back into the community. And it's a great, great program. I'm behind anything that has to do with CWT.
And they learn valuable job skills that they may not have had prior.
I also went to the CWT program up there, and it really taught me how to interact with the public a lot better, to see my place in society, to know what I can do to contribute, to give back to society, and really helped me a lot with my recovery.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item G, possible motion discussion to acknowledge the notification of raffle from PEO.
Make a motion to acknowledge the notification of raffle from PEO Chapter M of Hot Springs for a fundraising raffle to be held during the Hot Springs Chamber Spring Fling, April 30th, 2022 at the Mueller Civic Center.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item H, possible motion discussion to approve a special sale alcoholic beverage license application.
I make a motion to approve a special sale alcoholic beverage license application from CS Incorporated DBA doing business as Winter Circle for the Hoka-Hey event to be held on 7/9/22 at Centennial Park.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
Oh, yes.
Bob Paul, 1327 Schofield Street. I'm a little after the fact, I'm sorry, but I wonder, and I have absolutely nothing against the Hoka-Hey event or anything along that order, but I've reached a point over a good many years of hearing the same type of activity that each time we have an event at Centennial Park or Butler Park or wherever, there's got to be a group selling alcohol. And I kind of wonder why. I don't think that this is a real tremendous amount of money coming into the city as far as revenue on it. I guess I would like to see in the future that I realize that you folks have very little control over the groups that have these events or whether they want to have alcohol or whatever. But a lot of these events are more family-oriented, and I really kind of hesitate as to why we need to introduce our young people to the idea that if we're going to try to have a fun event, we've got to have booze involved in it. I don't think we do. I don't think it serves a useful purpose to the city. I don't think it's a great revenue enhancement for us. That's my comments on it. I just, in the future, maybe give it a little more thought. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I did have a question, Robert, I just never got out in time. On here, it don't say kind of alcohol they're going to use. Is it all the three and they just didn't mark it, or?
I think it's beer and wine, but I can find out for sure for you.
No
I
hard
don't think
liquor?
it's all of it.
And wristbands, how they can control the crowd? Is there going to be police officers, reserves or something at these events?
I don't think so. I don't think that's necessary for the events. We haven't required it for any others.
I don't know that there's ever been a problem.
Just ask.
Your remarks, Bob, your remarks
Yes, sir.
has been stated before. I think a lot of that, though, of what you're saying, has to be brought to whoever the association or the group that is putting on these functions. Because once we gets to us, they've actually filled out all their paperwork. So
I realize that, and like I had mentioned, the functions are kind of beyond your scope.
Right.
The parks are for public use.
Right.
And for groups to use the parks, I think is tremendous. It's great. Where you folks have the control is whether or not you want to permit them having availability of alcohol at these events. That is the only control that you really have on it, as far as I can see.
Right.
And all I am saying is, that is entirely up to the council. It's just from a personal level. I don't know that I really see the value of introducing at a lot of these family events, and I'm going to say like the craft fair has got a lot of young people there. Some of the 4th of July events that they're talking about, some of the historical events that are coming up that they're wishing to do that are going to involve the young people. Why do we need to show our young people that we have to have alcohol in order to have a beneficial event? I just don't see it. That's the perspective that I'm coming from.
And for some of these, I agree with you. But the thing being is that has, like they say, we got to start those things at home. Those things we need to start with whoever's going to bring on the program. Is that really where they're wanting to go with it?
I think that would be a consideration for them. And like I had mentioned, a lot of the planning and so forth is really beyond your scope as the council. What is within your scope is whether or not you want to grant the alcohol licenses for them to provide alcohol, period.
And to your question, Craig, in looking at the application, they do have checked off wristbands.
I see that. The only reason I ask about reserves or anything is because the street dance, when I was a lot younger, I used to go to that all the time. When I was a reserve, we used to walk around there to make sure everything was okay. And I've seen reserves there, but, this isn't a dance, but I was just curious.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
The motion passes. New business, item I, a possible motion discussion to approve a special sale alcoholic beverage license application.
I make a motion to approve a special sale alcoholic beverage license application from CS Inc., doing business as Winter Circle, for the Amber Dennett wedding to be held on 7/22/22 at the Mueller Civic Center at 801 South Chicago Street.
That's not the right address again, is it? It's South 6th Street, isn't it? I keep putting, I'm sorry.
Yeah, South
I don't have a
6th
phone, I
Street.
just noticed it as you were reading it. I keep seeing the wrong address for the Mueller Center. It's South 6th Street, I'm sorry.
Second, for South 6th Street.
Is 801 correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Missy's having a breakdown
I
over
put it
here.
on my daughter's graduation announcement too, the wrong address for this place.
Oh, no.
Folks on Chicago Street.
Would somebody tell me where we are?
I'm so sorry.
Second?
I think I got a second by
I seconded it.
Okay.
For South 6th Street.
You remember the memory conversations we've been having?
Getting cold as hell.
So what do you got to tell those folks when all those people show up at their house?
They don't want to know.
Yeah.
You don't know where the Mueller Civic Center is by
in
now.
trouble. I got
You're
mine.
not from around here.
Evidently.
Okay, discussion? Bob, same comment?
Wedding, it's different.
It's a wedding.
Different.
In my viewpoint, this is a private function. Where, it's certainly understandable. So I would have, I've got no misgivings on something like this at all. It's the more public, socialized type functions where we have a lot of young people involved and so forth. That's the viewpoint I'm coming at.
All right.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So the event at 801 South Chicago has been approved.
For South 6th Street.
Been moved to South 6th Street.
New business, item J, a possible motion discussion to approve travel training request.
I make a motion to approve the travel training request again for Police Officer Jack Peterson to attend reciprocity training in Pierce, South Dakota on another date of May 16th, 22 to May 20th, 22.
Second.
Parentheses, I noticed, okay, I was wondering, I thought we did this once, but
Yeah.
evidently it's twice
They keep
now.
changing the dates on him, or,
Yeah.
Oh,
or
okay.
I don't know if
It's
it's
a
a
date
staff
change. I thought we
issue
did
or
this
what,
already
but
once. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we
I am
approved
not
him
going
before.
nuts.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh. And this is based around their scheduling.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business, item K, possible motion discussion to approve travel training request for wastewater foreman.
Make a motion to approve the travel training request for wastewater foreman Jason Correll to attend the 2022 annual wastewater seminar in Pierce, South Dakota on 4/19/22 to 4/21/22.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business, item L, Possible motion discussion to approve a travel training request for the development coordinator.
Make a motion to approve the travel training request for, I didn't mean to be rude on that, for Development Coordinator Scott Sogi to attend the ICC Code Officials Institute program in Rapid City on 4/5/22.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. New business item M, possible motion discussion to approve travel training request for Police Captain Philip Shively.
Make a motion to approve travel training request for Police Captain Phil Shavley to attend an enhanced concealed pistol use of force training program in Pierce, South Dakota on 3/31/22.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Under our committee reports, Administrative and Finance, JR, Melanie?
The Admin and Finance did not meet. We will be meeting the 19th here at the Mueller Center. It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday, 19th, right.
Here at the Mueller Center, 1 o'clock. All are welcome to attend.
Airport Advisory, Bill?
Airport Advisory will meet Thursday, April 7th, 8:30 at the airport.
Thank you. Custer Fall River Regional Waste Management, Larry?
Next meeting will be May 12th, 7 p.m. at the Mueller Center.
Thank you. Historic Preservation, Deborah?
Next meeting is this Wednesday, April 6th, 5 o'clock, here at the Mueller Center. Everyone's welcome.
Thank you. Evans Plunge, Linda?
The next meeting will be April 14th at noon
Where?
at the Plunge.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parks Recreation, Beautification, Larry?
Next meeting is this Wednesday, the 6th at 2 p.m. at the Mueller Center. Everybody is welcome, unless we have a quorum.
But you guys.
Thank you. Planning and Zoning, Deborah?
They meet again April 20th. It's a Wednesday, 7 p.m. at City Hall.
Thank you. Public Safety, Bill, JR?
Next public safety is this Thursday, the 7th at 2 p.m. I do want to let council know that we had put out a notice of possible quorum because Larry David or one of his group was going to be in attendance to discuss the possibilities of medical cannabis cultivation within the city limits. Larry called City Hall today and asked that that item be removed from the public safety agenda. They have decided not to pursue cultivation within the city limits and are going to pursue it in the county. So y'all are welcome, but it's going to be a pretty lean agenda without that item. So you can do what you want since the notice of quorum is out there.
We'll come and say hey.
Can I add something as a part of public safety?
If you'd like.
Everybody knows that we're supposed to have some pretty high winds, up to 70 miles an hour in the next couple of days, even tonight. So for those of the public, tie your stuff down. Make sure that your items are safe around your house as much as possible. Watch your fires. It's a high fire danger as well. So please, please be safe.
Watch your trash cans, and please pick up your trash if it does dump over.
Yes, it is trash day tomorrow, so of course the winds are high.
We didn't have the high winds yet, but I had all of my roofing materials in my neighbor's yard
Picked up
yesterday.
4 of our Alley's trash cans before I came to the meeting, so thanks for touching on that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Public Works, Dave, Craig?
Our next meeting, no. Everybody else is saying yes.
Everybody else I was waiting for that.
I'll try to keep this under an hour, but we haven't had anything, so I'll keep you guys here a while. At our meeting, we had Myself.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Dave Burris. Deborah. Jeffrey. Mayor Bob. Tracy Bastion. And Scott.
Continue, please.
New business. 6th and Jennings. We talked about a handicap bus stop for handicap. It'd be on 6th Street, right next to Dr. Mass's office. But there'd be a lot of things we'd have to do, or somebody like pour an extra sidewalk so when the bus pulled up, they could, lower it down and they wouldn't have to try to go across the boulevard with grass with the wheelchair and stuff. Streets and Maintenance Department. Trimming trees and alleys is going forth. They're still doing that. They're up on the hill. I don't know where they're going to get downtown with all the real bad trees, but they will eventually. Number 2, Battle Mountain Road needs milling scheduled in June 2022. That should be coming up pretty soon. As soon as it gets nice out, they'll be up there. They already paid for the millings and everything, so. Update, Valley View Drive. Drainage improvement schedule. They have to do a bunch of welding on grates and stuff and pour concrete so they can put it all in there. And then they'll be done, hopefully. We crossed out burning brush pile because they're gone. LP tank at the street shop's an ongoing problem. We discussed that for about an hour, hour and a half. Never came up with a conclusion yet. Maybe next meeting. Utilities Department. Wastewater treatment plant improvement updates. The thing that goes around that we redid is on hold because the center pipe is rusted. And they're going out on bids to see what it costs to replace it. Road project updates is ongoing. All you have to do is drive out of town and you'll see how they're doing. Code Enforcement Department. Code Enforcement Specialties. May 6th, the letters are going out, and then a second set of letters will go out in July. So in all actuality, I'd be the second and third letters because some's already gone out. Food truck park. We've been getting emails on the sign we're putting up there, but no attachments came through, just an email saying there's an attachment there, but there wasn't.
I got it. I got it.
I didn't.
You did?
I got it.
I didn't. Mine, there was nothing there. I pushed an attachment and said not available. Old business. I guess, I don't know if we're crossing it out, but the lease of royalties agreement with Simons is put on hold for a while. Nobody knows how long. Might be a couple of years, might be tomorrow. Contracted city snow removal. Jeff has been working on that. He's got a pretty good plan in motion. I don't know if the city will be seeing it pretty soon.
We should have it to council on the next council meeting, I think. That'd be my best guess.
Somerset Street, wherever that's at, there's a wall that we're having problems with.
It's not Somerset.
It's
Summit
Summit
Street.
Street.
Changed to Summit Street.
Summit Road.
It isn't on my paperwork.
Well, officially it's been changed.
That like Chicago?
Right to Chicago.
It's an ongoing thing, but we haven't decided how we're gonna do it yet, or if the money's available to do it. So, community garden update, we already had a big thing and voted that tonight, so I'm taking this off, or Mr. Burris can, seeing how he's the head of this thing. The pump out at Big Bats along Main Street, water's halfway across the road, I understand. They're waiting for them to do the other half so they can bring it over to Big Bats and put a meter pit in or whatever they're gonna do there. DOT rail, we don't know anything about that yet, so I don't really want to say. Clubhouse retaining wall. We're waiting on
Me.
huh?
We gotta move, we're moving forward on the RFP for.
Okay. North River cleanup project. It's done up to the bridge. As if everybody noticed tonight. Ordered 300 garbage totes, we've done that. Dollar General Road is still in discussion. Our next meeting will be April 4th. Everybody's welcome that wants to show up.
April 4th?
What it says.
That's today.
That was today.
I missed it.
Don't that's
Next
April
meeting will be
4th?
the 12th of April.
It says April 4th, right here.
April 4th, 2022, 1 p.m.
Really?
At what time, Craig?
It's the 12th.
1 o'clock.
On the 12th, ladies and gentlemen.
Next week.
Okay.
Or if you want to stick around, we can have a short meeting after this one. That's all I have.
Dave, you have anything you want to add?
Sorry it didn't take longer.
No, we'll go with.
Any questions for Craig or Dave?
I have a question for these two in reference to Jeff. Did you ever get a hold of Kerry Barker?
No, sir. Before you went in the hospital, you were trying to hook up with him, and you were going to get back with me on that. I'm standing by for you, honestly. I can't reach him, so.
Okay, I'll try again, guys.
Okay.
All right. We do, the only thing I would like to add will be, been asked actually by one councilman and 4 citizens, June 6th through the 10th will be free dump week. And then September the 12th through the 16th will be the next free dump week. So those of you who are interested in that, please take note.
What I forgot to read. Oh, free dump stuff. Oh, sorry about that, Dave.
That's the second one? The second one is in September, and that will be Monday the 12th through Friday the 16th.
Okay.
You are welcome.
Well, a couple updates on the public works. Craig was talking about the clarifier arm. Tracy had mentioned last week that before they go out for bids for the repair of it, they're going to drain the clarifier one more time and allow the street folks to take a look at the repair. There's a hole at the bottom of the center pivot that the arm mounts on, and see if possibly our city crews can fix it rather than going out for a request for proposals. One quote that he got back to build and replace the center pivot is $90,000.
Oh my God.
And we have a lot of expenses that we need to address. So he wants to drain the clarifier one more time and give the folks of the street shop an opportunity to come down and take a look at it and see if they can put together a quality repair of it rather than replacing the whole center pivot. The digester lid, we had set a public opening for the request for proposals to install the digester lid. and we didn't receive any for that Public Works meeting. So Misty got to looking through codified law and found where we don't have to go back out for bids. And each of you should have a copy of the digester lid installation procurement process in your info side of the packet. So that's what we're going to do at this point. Tracy's going to reach back out to the company that had indicated to him they would submit a request for proposal, but just never got it to you for their consideration to see if we can work out a service and a price for that. So that's where we are on that. Southern Hills Golf Course Advisory, Jeff?
Just real quick, since the last council meeting, we did get, with your approval, we got PJ Wetzel in place. He's burning bridges and taking names at this point in the game. We have been busy out there, in spite of the bad weather. The next couple of days will slow us down, but he's been kind of ahead of everything on numbers. That's the only thing I have. We are going to move forward with the wall. The committee did approve the design with some comments that we're taking back in now, and we'll get busy on that and should have to council, I hope, at the next meeting. Next committee meeting is 11 April, 6 p.m. at the golf course. I'll go ahead and roll right into my admin report real quick. We're just busy working on the parks, getting parks and golf courses and all that ready for season. We're doing we're submitting a grant for some upgrades at Butler Park, just FYI. And then as well, we do have, lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. Sports registrations are out of the box, so we're having to work on another field up at Butler Park for the Tiny Tots, and we're starting that this week. I did want to mention that just a heads up that we did lose the HVAC unit at the golf course. I forgot that on my golf course report. So we're getting estimates now to get that replaced and move. That's going to be an expense coming up that we'll have to pick up in the enterprise. That's all I've got.
All right.
Thank you.
Any questions for Jeff?
Would you come to the Parks meeting and just?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go over the Butler Park stuff and registration also.
All right, appreciate it.
Finance Officer, Misty?
I have provided you the standard monthly reports. I would point out on your profit loss summary by fund that we were not able to reflect the entire month of March in the reports just due to timing. So you'd notice in the water, wastewater, and solid waste funds, the revenue doesn't look right because we post those utility billing payments at the end of March. So if I were to print them again today, they'd look different. The other reports you have, your fund summary report, budget versus actual for revenue and expenses at this point in the year, cash balance report for our main accounts, and then the investment reports that include all of the cash assets of the city. I did highlight a couple of the CDs that we have coming due at the end of June and the beginning of July. Our Evans Plunge Mineral Springs Debt Service Reserve CD that's currently with South Dakota Fit. It was a 12-month CD that's coming due on the 30th of June. And then our water CD, that's a debt service for our water fund that's coming due at First Interstate on the 6th of July. I'll be getting you some rate quotes and be making a decision on what to do with those funds. My work continues on the 2021 audit pre-work and annual report preparation. I'm happy to let you know that I am making progress finally. As of late last week, I finished all the work papers, roll forwards, analytics, reporting, and reconciliations. I've calculated and posted all necessary adjusting journal entries and have begun the preparation of the actual annual report. The presentation format of this report is prescribed by the South Dakota Department of Legislative Audit. It's submitted to the governing body no later than the first meeting in May of each year and then published in the official newspaper. The purpose of the published annual report is to inform taxpayers And so it's designed to be user-friendly and easily comparable to other municipalities. So if you wonder why it looks the way it does or why we combine things in the way that we do, know that that's prescribed by legislative audit. And the goal is to make it easily comparable and to be reader-friendly. We publish the report on our website also and keep them on there for previous years. All items requested by the auditors in order to begin their audit work have been prepared and shared with the audit team. We have a kickoff call scheduled for Wednesday, and their field work is scheduled to begin the week of May 9th, right after I present you the annual report. We hope, once again, to have the audit complete for a readout by no later than the second meeting in June. The deadline for submitting nominating petitions was last week, Tuesday, March 29th. 7 petitions were submitted by the deadline, and based on those submissions, we will have a 2022 municipal election. Petitions submitted include Mayor Robert L. Nelson and Randy Uriah Llewellyn, Ward 1, Larry Pratt and David Teachout, Ward 2, Bill Lukens, Ward 3, Johnny Huddleston, and Ward 4, Melanie Wilson. A race for the mayoral seat and the Ward 1 alderman position will appear on the ballots in June. We are combining our election, and the next thing you need to think about is to make sure that your voter registration is current, and also take some time to encourage voter participation in our election. If you have questions about your ward or if you're registered, you can get information at the auditor's office of the Fall River County Courthouse. The last day to register to vote for the 2022 municipal election is Monday, May 23rd by 5 p.m. I wanted to report on my recalculation of 2022 payroll estimates in light of the newly improved increased wages. There will be an additional unbudgeted expenses of approximately $210,000 this year. We'll need to supplementally appropriate the budgets of all departments and functions with payroll expenses. We'll have to use our savings or cash applied as the source of revenue used to fund the added costs. Although I'm very thankful for the increased pay as your finance officer, I'm concerned with increasing ongoing expenses approved with no plans to fund them. In just a few short months, we'll be beginning our 2023 budget planning, and these added expenses will have to be offset by decreases in other areas of city spending. Governor Noem granted the following days as administrative leave days: Friday, April 15th, and Monday, April 18th. I quoted what she said in her email, thanking us for the work that we do. Your work strengthens our state and our communities, and this important work starts at home when we spend time with our own families, and that's why she granted administrative leave for both Good Friday and Easter Monday. Because the 18th is a regularly scheduled council meeting, we will be rescheduling that meeting for Tuesday the 19th. On Wednesday, March 29th, 11 representatives of the city went to the SDML annual district meeting in New Underwood. It was so nice to be so well represented and also to meet in person again for the first time in 2 years. The evening was informative, the company was excellent, the food was superb, and we had so much fun that the city got carried away and volunteered to host the 2023 District 9 annual meeting.
Thanks,
Don't look at me.
We have a year to brainstorm. Let me know your thoughts on locations, food, and door prizes, and it will be a nice opportunity to once again host this meeting and show off our town. Please remember that the finance office doors are always open. A full review and understanding of our financial policies, procedures, and position is a very important part of all the decisions you make for the city. If there's any information you need to be more comfortable with that responsibility, I encourage you to seek it out. If you have suggestions on additional information that we should make available to council members, please be sure to let us know. I certainly don't want to overwhelm you with spreadsheets and data that's easily overlooked, but a good understanding of state statute and local financial policies and procedures is too important to not frequently share and openly discuss. Thank you for all the work you do to keep our city moving forward. We've had a lot on our plates in the first few months of 2022, and I only see things ramping up in our future. Thank you.
Any questions for Misty? I would just like to add to what Misty said. It was a great Municipal League meeting, and in Craig's enthusiasm, he jumped right out and volunteered the City of Hot Springs to host the next one. And I think it's a good opportunity for us. We'll certainly be 1 year through our road reconstruction project, so folks can see what's happening in Hot Springs, and ideally we'll maybe have some of our suspended sidewalks starting to be erected at that point. The big benefit with Craig being as enthusiastic about volunteering the city is he'll still be in the final term of his second year, so he can certainly spearhead this and take on the responsibilities of making sure that Hot Springs puts on the best South Dakota Municipal League dinner that District 9 has ever experienced. So thank you for the recommendation. Thank you for stepping up and offering to do that for us.
Go, Craig.
What do y'all think about the bowling alley?
They have great food there.
I know.
All right. Thank you, Misty. A couple of things that I had on my short list to address. The North River channel cleanup, we talked about that extensively tonight, so I won't add any more on that. Just a reminder that the road reconstruction project, keep checking the reconstruction, hotspringsreconstruction.com, for the weekly updates. As Bill said, the public safety meeting that I emailed you folks about, asking you to attend. As he said, you're still welcome to attend, but the main reason that we'd ask you to be there isn't going to happen anymore. And I hadn't planned on addressing this tonight, but I think it's important. I've been wanting to publicly acknowledge all of the folks that have donated money to the City of Hot Springs for a number of reasons. And I wanted to highlight last year's donors, but everyone knows that our council meetings so far this year have been very spirited, and some of them have gotten long, and I didn't add to the length of those, so I'm going to add to the length of this one tonight to acknowledge these people publicly, because I think it's important that we identify them. So for 2021, Kurt Burt donated a 2005 Ford Freestyle wagon as an airport courtesy car, valued at $2,000. Raven Aerostar gave a cash donation for the airport of $693. Peggy Warner gave a library donation of $200. Black Hills Energy Co-op gave a donation to the summer reading program for $25. Sonny's Superfoods gave two $10 gift cards for the summer reading and raffle prizes for $20. Massa Dental summer reading program for $100. Fall River Health Services for a summer reading program for $50. Southern Black Hills Realtors for Kids summer reading program $100. Len's Dakota Mart of Hot Springs summer reading and raffle prizes $50. Reptile Gardens, 2 free admission tickets for summer reading program and raffle prize, $50. Health for Life Fitness, summer reading and raffle prizes for $50. Western Horizons Hot Air Balloons, summer reading and raffle prizes for $167. There's a common theme here. Cascade Chiropractic, summer reading and raffle prizes, $100. Fall River County Herald Star, 1-year subscription, summer reading and raffle prize for $55. Angostura Recreation, 2 free nights of camping, summer reading and raffle prize, $52. Black Hills Parks and Forest Association, summer reading and raffle prizes, $80. Ace Hardware on Hot Springs, 30 hammers for Bird Box Building Workshop and Summer Reading Program, $300. Ace Hardware, Hot Springs, Bird Box Building Workshop and Summer Reading Program, $15. Ace Hardware, Hot Springs, Summer Reading and Raffle Prizes, $70. Peg Spurlich Publishing, Summer Reading and Raffle Prizes for $50. Winner's Circle, Summer Reading and Raffle Prizes for $80. Pioneer Museum, Summer Reading and Raffle Prizes for $40. Black Hills Parks and Forest Association, Summer Reading and Raffle Prizes for $20. St. Anthony's Church, Summer Reading Program, $100. First Interstate Bank Summer Reading Program, $50. Hot Springs Chamber of Commerce Summer Reading and Raffle Prizes, $50. Black Hills Federal Credit Union Summer Reading Program, $25. Moccasin Springs Summer Reading Program, $50. H&H Enterprises, Inc., Coffee Cup of Hot Springs Summer Reading Program, $150. Earth Goods Summer Reading and Raffle Prizes, $200. Coca-Cola Bottling Company Summer Reading and Raffle Prizes, $160. Keep Hot Springs Beautiful Summer Reading Program, $50. KOA Campground Summer Reading Program, $50. Jeff Quinn Magician, 2 stuffed animals and 2 magic kits Summer Reading Program, $30. Don Frank Memorial Bench for $1,500. Lucy and the Green Wolf, 2 boxes of masks and 20 necklaces Summer Reading Program, $220. Admiral Beverage Corporation, doing business as Pepsi, support of the Southern Hills Golf Course, $1,000. Family of Jack Weiss, a custom bench, $325. Lenora Nelson, park bench at Butler Park, $1,325. Rob Mason, playground equipment for Chautauqua Park in memory of his wife, $27,000. And the Fall River Swim Team, a VASA trainer and 4 lifeguard safety tubes for $1,273, for a total donation value in 2021 of $37,925 to the City of Hot Springs for programs these folks believe in and feel are important to the City of Hot Springs. So that's for 2021. For 2022, Catherine Thorne from Ameriprise, an Ameriprise check of $1,300. For the police department supplies, $800, and clothing is $500. Eileen Hutchinson from Twin City, from Collegeville, Pennsylvania, $100, donor gratitude for handling the son's possessions after he deceased. General donation to the Hot Springs Police Department. The Masons, a donation of $700 for a 24-gun safe for storage of PD guns. That's the Police Department. And then City Hall received a letter today that I'd like to read. It says, "Hi, my siblings and I would like to make a cash donation to the City of Hot Springs for $1,000 to be used in its general revenue funds account. We grew up in Hot Springs and really cherished the time growing up in a small, wonderful town. My wife and I make trips back to Hot Springs every year. We love the fresh air, blue skies, weather, and beautiful scenery. It is our hope that once I retire, we can make Hot Springs a place we can stay for an extended period of time. In fact, me, my 2 sisters, brother, and our spouses are making a trip to Hot Springs this June to have a good time of memories. My parents, Charles and Mary Lou Weldy, really loved Hot Springs, and we thought it fitting to donate a park bench as a memorial to them that now sits at the School Street Park. Billy and his team was great to work with in getting this bench installed. Thank you, Billy. My siblings and I know that Mom and Dad would have appreciated us not only providing a bench in their memory, but in addition providing this cash donation to the City of Hot Springs as a token of appreciation for what the city has done for the community of Hot Springs for so many years. Thank you for your service to the community. Best regards, Brian Weldy, Kim Stefanina Weldy, Lisa Holland Weldy, and Brett Weldy. So far this year, for 2022, we have a total donations of $3,100. So again, I want to personally thank all of these folks for giving back to your community. It's really appreciated. Do you have any questions for me? Then we need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes.